Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. We got some not so great news, y'all. This is just breaking within the hour, just so you guys know. I've been kind of sitting back, waiting to see what Adventures with Purpose would end up finding, what they would kind of end up have happen, and we have some new information. And it looks like Kiely Rodni, 16-year-old Kiely Rodni, has been found. Now, if you guys don't know anything about this, we, of course, are going to be getting into this very, very shortly. All right. But I got to give you guys the news, and this is what's going on right now as we speak. I kind of wanted to sit back and, I know that there's been some other people that have stepped forward. Some of the another friend of Kylie's has stepped forward saying the last time that they saw her and all that. I know that there's been other developing pieces of information, but they've just been little breadcrumbs. But I knew for a fact that if I sat back and let Adventures with Purpose do a little something, that we would find some things out. At least get a question, one of the main questions answered, which is, did she end up possibly going into a lake, right? Did she go into that lake and pass away from something like that? But like I said, there's still a lot of questions I have, man. There's a lot of questions I have. And there's some information here, which we are going to get into very shortly. Hopefully I got some friends or a friend hopping on in a little bit to chop it up with me about this new news. Obviously, this is not great news, okay? Let's keep it real. It's not the greatest news at all. I know a lot of us were hoping to find or hoping to hear something completely different, so that maybe there's hope that she is still alive. She is still on this planet, living and breathing. But right now, we have some new information. Again, Kiely Rodni has been found in her car in the lake. Yes. So anyway, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about this. It's not great news. I'm not happy to hear this. I was hopeful, just like all of us are. We're hopeful that she was still alive and still well. But we have found out something different. So I got to do a little housekeeping before we move forward. I know a lot of you guys are watching a lot of other streams that are breaking this because they got on a lot faster, a lot sooner than me. And hey, I understand that. I appreciate you guys just taking the time to swing through and watch this stream with me. But like I said, I know there's a lot of other guys that have been diligently covering this story that I understand hopping on and hopping back and forth. Okay, if you can, and hop over here for a little bit, I appreciate it, okay? Meanwhile, if you can, please hit that like button. That would be really, really appreciated, okay? Send those likes all the way past 300 as I see you guys starting to file in. Thank you, guys. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Happy Sunday. I wish it was on better news than this, but we got to talk about this, okay? So please hit that like button down below. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that yet, okay? Hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this. Yeah, we gotta get into this. Okay. Now we already know, or for those of y'all who don't know, there was a 16-year-old girl by the name of Kiely Rodni. She was at a end of the year, like basically a senior send-off party. All right. She's 16 years old. Let me say that again. She's 16 years old. All right. But she was really, really smart. And she was graduating early this year. She was graduating 2 years earlier, if I'm correct. That's how wicked smart she was, right? So she's at this, I keep on saying birthday party. She was at this particular party, kicking it. And of course, it was a crazy party from what the friends say. Whole bunch of people from different states, different cities, different areas started hopping in, started popping up and all that. All right. And she ended up missing. She ended up disappearing later on that night. Everybody else, a lot of people were leaving for to go. Possibly, there's been rumors of maybe that there was another after party somewhere else, right? But there was a big caravan of cars that were driving down, leaving this particular area. I'm assuming to go to somewhere else and kick it even more. And she never turned up at home. Okay. Now, of course, I'm abbreviating the hell out of this because a lot of you guys already know about this story, but I'm just giving you guys just a very broad strokes to this. Okay. Because it isn't, like I said, this news is not great at all, but nonetheless, it is what we know right now. Hold on. Just talking to my friend. Hopefully, they will be able to hop on and be a part of the conversation. I'm hoping that I am hoping that our friend, our family member, Private Eye, Jason Jensen, will be on the show to talk further about what he may think is how they were able to find Kiely and her car. Okay, but like I said, this chapter now is closed on this. But let's get into this. This is what Adventures with Purpose posted on their Facebook page. Okay, it says, Adventures with Purpose. We just found Kiely Rodni. Okay, car is upside down in only 14 feet of water. 14 feet. If I'm reading that correct, 14 feet of water, guys. All right. Now, let me just say this. Now, of course, I'm not knocking anybody, but I'm wondering why it took the Adventures with Purpose to be able to find her in such shallow water. Right? I mean, but then again, like I said, not trying to throw any shade. I appreciate the law enforcement that in what they were doing, scouring, looking everywhere they could. It was just interesting. Is it solely because of the information, right? Or sorry, the technology that Adventures with Purpose actually has? Is it solely because of the technology? It just seems weird, right? Just interesting, right? 14 feet of water. We have confirmed. Now, this is the hard part, guys. So I'm going to show you guys this. This is the hard part of it all. We have confirmed Kiely is inside the car. She's inside the ride as we speak. Family has been notified. Thank God for that. I will say this. Thank God for that, because I'd hate for them to put out all this information and then the family, obviously there's a lot of people, not only just mainstream media, that's been covering this a little bit, but there'd be a lot of other people on social media putting out information before the parents even knew, before the family even knew, and that would be devastating. Okay, to find out through the internet rather than actually hearing from the people who are out there, boots on the ground, trying to find this young girl. So family was notified. So this is as legit as it's going to get. Law enforcement on their way, and this was posted 56 minutes ago. So within this hour, all right, within this very hour, they found her. And we're gonna look at some clips, because there's some clips with AWP out here, talking about how they went to one area, they looked around, they didn't see anything at that time, but they were going to go into more shallow water to see what's up, so on and so forth. But this is so sad, so sad, so sad, y'all. Hold up. Oops. Oh. Hold on, guys. Whoops. Let me see if I can. Hold on one second. Okay, yeah. Brother Jason is working on the thing. So let me pop that back up here again. For those of y'all who are starting to file in, I appreciate all y'all for being here, being a part of the conversation. I know Libby Esther said, wait, what? That's sad. And yeah, like I said, y'all are just finding out, but there's a lot of other people that have been, quite up to date on this news. This is only 56 minutes, about an hour old. All right, this information. Kiely Rodni has been found. Her car and herself have been found. That means that she was inside the car. We're going to look at this here in a second and talk about this. See, Deborah, that's the thing. Maybe I've got Deborah D. I don't know if they're meaning 14 inches or 14 feet. I feel like an idiot right now. I think it's 14 feet. That is 14 feet, if I'm correct. Like I said, I don't want to misread it or something like that too, right? But that's 14 feet of water, if I'm correct. Okay. But I appreciate the correction or asking for more specifics. 14 feet of water she was found in. Okay. Now, we'll be on the scene the rest of the day. We'll have a live stream tomorrow, and we'll make an announcement as to what time later this afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for your support and donations and getting us here to help Kiely and her family. Obviously, she has been found. Okay. Now, again, not the greatest news. Not the greatest news. I also heard that the car is upside down. So it's in the lake and it's upside down. So maybe that's the reason why they weren't able to see a shiny, see the silver of the car, the color of the car through the water, because the car had turned upside down with the bottom of the car facing the surface of the water. That could very well be it too. And again, I'm sorry for giving you guys this information like this. It is not the greatest information, but I will say this one more time for those of y'all who are just starting to file in. Okay, this is according to Adventures with Purpose. About an hour ago, they posted this on their Facebook page. They said, we just found Kiely Rodni. Car is upside down in only 14 feet of water. We have confirmed Kiely is inside. Family has been notified. Law enforcement is on their way. They will be doing a live stream tomorrow to talk about, I guess, details on what they were able to discover, how they were able to discover her, and all that stuff. Okay. They say, of course, they're going to be there for the rest of they're going to be on the scene for the rest of the day. And then, of course, they're going to be making an announcement later today or later this afternoon to let everybody know when they will be live streaming tomorrow. Again, the most important part here is that this young girl has been found. Now, from what I'm hearing from other people, and hopefully you'll be hearing from our residential, our family private eye, Jason Jensen. He has a little bit more information on how she was found, etc. But from what I'm hearing, the car was actually flipped upside down. It was flipped upside down. Now, I'm going to ask questions because that's just who I am, and I'm an inquisitive mother lover. Okay, inquisitive as hell. Yes, it does. Sky blue moon. Yes, thank God that they found her. Yes, it sucks that they found her in this way. I will say that. It does answer one question, but it does leave a lot of questions wide open. Like, how did her car get out there and flip upside down? Where were there any car tracks? Were there any tire marks, tire tracks, anything near the road where the car may have veered off from? How did this happen? How is this happening? Right? How did this whole situation happen? But I know for a fact, I knew it, that as soon as AWP came through with their technology and their expertise, I knew for a fact we were either going to find the car there, or not find that car there at all. That we were going to nip one theory in the bud. And now we have had that whole theory completely confirmed. Some people are thinking that it's still foul play. Some people out here still feel like there is foul play with this situation. I don't know. I don't know. I think what's going to be what can be answered or what will be answered is with toxicology, with when they do an autopsy to find out if there was anything that happened that was harmed on her body, so on and so forth. But I do find it interesting that a YouTube channel, shout out to YouTube channels, all right, and all you YouTube creators out here fighting the good fight. I do find it very interesting that a lot of people are like that. There were other guys, other people out there scouring the lake and found nothing. And these guys took maybe a day, like a day shift, and they were able to find her car with her inside of it. It's devastating, guys. It's devastating. Avery Shannon, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Jason and I have the same theory all along, which proved true. Hurry up and bring his face on. Yeah, I'm waiting for. He's having some technical issues. Let me message him one more time, just to see. I'm gonna try to send him the link again. He was saying he was having some issues, some technical issues. But like I said, we were both, when he came onto the show, it was kind of like, this sounds like there's a possibility of this could be a possibility of somebody just, losing control of their car and veering off the road, possibly. But I'm like, where are the tire marks? Where are the tire tracks? Were there any tire tracks in the area for them to be able to find her, right? Now, this also does kind of veer a lot of attention off of some of the friends, because I know that a lot of people were skeptical. And I mean, I'm still skeptical on some of it too. I will be completely honest on that. I am a little skeptical on some of some of the friends have said, so on and so forth. But I don't think it's anything where it's like something even deeper than what it is. I think people just went out, they kicked it, they were having too much of a good time. Things got too out of hand. Maybe it got too rowdy, too loud. They were worried about maybe getting caught. They packed up their stuff, saying, "Hey, we're gonna continue to party down the way." All right. Or you never know. They might have been like, "Yo, we're all hungry. Let's go to Denny's, man." You never know. You know what I'm saying? You know those late night meals. You feel me? All right. And they all started to caravan that way, right? Whether they were going into a hotel, okay, or another rendezvous spot, or a Denny's, or a Cracker Barrel, you know what I'm saying? Or a Waffle House. You never know. But then all of a sudden, this happened. It's funny because I see two people. You know what? Oh, I got some things to say, y'all. I got things to say. Hold up. Sky Blue Moon said this is not an accident. And what's funny is right after her comment, somebody else said, Donna said, this was an accident. So see, again, that's the thing. A lot of people, this is going to be extremely polarizing. And the thing is a lot of questions will be answered. A lot of answers will be made. I guarantee you this. When the autopsy is done, toxicology is done, a lot of answers will be made. That's what I truly believe in my heart of hearts. All right. Now, Misty Fisher just said, why did Sammy leave when AWP was about to come on scene, though, Pascal? Now, I heard through the grapevine that she never left, that she was still in the state, allegedly. Don't ask how I know. I just know. I have friends, and allegedly she didn't leave, that she was still in the state. I know people are saying that she left to Montana or something crazy like that. She actually allegedly never left. She just she never left. I don't know what she did, okay? But I know but from what I'm hearing, she never actually left. She never kicked rocks, y'all. She never kicked rocks. Now, there is okay, so he's trying to reboot his computer, I guess. So hopefully he'll be on here within the next 5 minutes or so. But I would love to hear from him, his thoughts on all this and everything. Of course, we have been talking about this. We have been covering this like crazy. This is obviously not the greatest of news, but it does answer a very, very big question, which is what happened? Where is she? Now we know where she is. Now it's a question of what actually happened to her. That's the question that needs to be answered now. Because still, people, it doesn't mean that somebody out there was trying to be a bad boy or a bad person. Still, somebody could have been doing something bad and just rolled her car into the lake. That is very possible too, y'all. That is very possible too. But those are just speculations. Let's just see what happens when they actually get a chance to examine her body and find out what actually is going down here. A Skywalker 91, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. How far from the party location was the car found? That is one piece I haven't gotten that far yet, too. And that's something I am, like I said, I had just found out about this information. So I'm learning learning pieces of this as we go. I'm learning with you guys today. Okay. I'm learning with you guys live today. But I want to see if, what's his face? Adventures with Purpose, if they actually posted something recently. And right now, they don't have any live streams or anything, but they will be doing a live stream tomorrow talking about this as well. And most likely, depending on what time they do the live stream, I will be on to watch it with you guys as a family, because obviously we definitely want to see that. Okay. Let me see. Hold on. Somebody on Facebook, Stephanie Page. Thank you so much. Stephanie Page Belson, thank you so much for the comment on Facebook. Lived there my whole life, and an accident, so I can't imagine it being a total accident unless she was whacked out of her mind because she was such a young driver and tried to drive and way drugged or way drunk, and I can't see her just driving into the reservoir. It's almost impossible to think it's accidental unless three things I mentioned were all at play. And that could be it too, though. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the comment. But that could very well be it too. You got to remember that. You got to put those in your mind too. Like, they were out kicking it hard. And when Mags said, hey, as soon as I showed up to the party, a whole bunch of dudes were forcing me uncomfortably, aggressively forcing me to do bong rips to the head. Do as many bong rips as I can, man. She felt uncomfortable, and apparently she left 30 minutes into the party. Same party that she put together with Sammy. So who's to say that those same dudes or people at the party were in the same mentality? Like, yo, this is our last night before we all go off and live our lives like us seniors. We're not going to see each other, We're not going to see each other ever again, man. High school's over, man. And they're just like, let's just tie one on. Let's just go. Let's party our faces off. And that could have literally been it too. I hate to say it like that, but it could very well be that as well. Okay. Now, I have my he is finally on here. Um and so I wanted to have him come on here and chop it up with us cuz hold on one second. Cuz I really wanted to hear his opinions about this. You know him. You know him, you love him. He's a family member now. Please welcome Jason Jensen, Private Eye, to the show. How you doing, my brother?
Good. How are you doing, Pascal?
I'm good. I'm good. I mean, obviously, this is not great news. You know, first off, you're the one who gave me the information about this, and because I didn't see anything until you actually sent me a message. I appreciate you sending me this message because this would have flown right over. I would have flown right over this today. So I appreciate you telling me and letting me know about this. And this is not the greatest news. You know, I was hoping for something different, but at the same time, these are the breaks, right? So I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. You know, what are your thoughts on the information and the details that have been presented?
Well, for Adventures with Purpose to find her vehicle, and they found it in a lake upside down. You know, for the area, for that part of the country, it doesn't surprise me. This happens, you know, not all the time, but enough that that would be my first place I'd look. And certainly that was our discussion I think it was last week before, where when you asked me then, what do you think happened? I said, well, you know, it's entirely possible that her vehicle, you know, went off the road into a lake, down a ravine. And I believe I said that if the vehicle was found, then you would know what the end results of Kiely were. You know, like if the car was abandoned in some field 5 miles, 10 miles, 30 miles away, then you could suspect foul play. But nobody was finding her car. So cars just don't disappear, you know, 2,000 pounds of steel. So the further this went along without them finding her car in Las Vegas or, you know, some other town or in the desert, just further convinced me that she probably ended up in a watery grave, which, as we know from today's results, that's exactly where they found her vehicle, was upside down, 14 feet of water. And they confirmed that sadly her remains were inside.
Yeah, it's this whole thing is just not great news, y'all. It's not great news at all. And obviously, of course, I think we all can agree with this, that we are hoping the opposite, right? We were hoping that maybe they'd find something, right? Maybe the car, but not her in it, or maybe nothing at all, so that there's maybe a glimmer of hope that she's still out there, still alive, right?
Right, right. And I'm sure there were some that were still holding out hope that maybe she just ran away, was, you know, off somewhere hiding or something like that. But you know, these never are good outcomes. I mean, to some people, finding her dead in this scenario is better than find her dead in some other more scarier scenario, you know, like being bound and abused or something is not a way to go either. So it really does have the optics. And she was reporting, you know, hey, I'll be leaving in 15 minutes. The police had indicated that there was, you know, a last cell phone ping within a few minutes of her departure. Really just had all the signs that she was in, you know, good communication with her mother at the time, was about to leave, and something soon thereafter happened. Well, you know, anytime you're driving at night, leaving a party, you can pretty well anticipate an accident is pretty much a higher odd of actually happening versus if it's in the daylight and you're driving with a partner, you're fresh, you know, just got up from a good night's rest. But leaving in the middle of the night after a party is never a good start for a drive at any distance.
No, and of course, there's, you know, we obviously know that there was a lot of binge drinking going on there. There was a lot of party favors. There was a lot of elements you got to put into consideration. A windy, you know, let's just say windy roads in the middle of the night, dark roads that are barely lit, if even lit at all. you put all those you combine all those things together, it's a recipe for a really bad situation, especially if you have a novice driver. Doesn't matter how incredibly intelligent a person is, if you are still new to being behind the wheel of a car and you are intoxicated or under the influence, allegedly, this is all speculation now, then yeah, it's a recipe for something bad to happen, right?
Right. And she doesn't even have to be under the influence. 16, brand new driver,
True.
in the middle of the night. That alone can be scary.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, one thing I will ask though, and obviously I know you weren't there, boots on the ground, or you weren't there scouring the lake with Adventures with Purpose. But one of the questions I have is, what about skid marks, tire marks, tire tracks in the mud where the car is going, entering into the lake? You see what I'm saying? That's one thing I'm kind of curious about is, was there anything found around the area to lead them to believe that, car drove off right here? You see what I'm saying?
Well, I would imagine that now that they found the vehicle and they know that it's upside down and what direction it was facing, I'm sure they're going to answer those questions to see if there is scuffs on any rocks, boulders, the edge of the road, if there's any tire tracks. Because if it's upside down in only 14 feet of water, the chances are pretty good that it launched in order for it to land upside down. So
that's exactly what I was going to say or ask you, because you mentioned even when you told me, it's like, hey, car was upside down with her in it. So
right.
how is that? Okay, I know you just kind of said it, but do you mind like elaborating a little bit more on that? How can the car be flipped upside down?
Sure. If it's a slow entry, like you're just coasting down like a hill or something, it's not going to flip. It's not going to be upside down at all. But for the vehicle to be upside down, that means that it was airborne, and as it hit, it likely hit nose down, so that forward motion would continue to make it flip upside down, or it had enough air time that it was actually in the process of doing like a long somersault.
Wait, so wow. So that car, I mean, there would have to be enough momentum, right? Like it would have to be somewhat airborne for it to hit that water to kind of flip over, right?
Sure.
Right?
I mean, yeah, like I would imagine she was doing, 40, 50 or better miles per hour.
But then obviously not every mountainous area, right, with lakes have guardrails, but there's no damage to any guardrails, or it almost seems as if she just drove without even hitting the brakes at all. It just went woo, like that. It sailed into the lake and then just toppled over upside down, and that was it.
Right. Well, that's
so
likely
weird,
the
right?
scenario, and that's the only reason why they didn't find her sooner, is because there wasn't damage to a guardrail or something that would be obvious, because fresh damage would brought everybody's attention to it. So, out here in the wilderness, there isn't guardrails, there's edges, cliffs, if you will, that you just have to be a cautious driver. And if you're new to driving, you're probably not going to exhibit the kind of caution that you should in a mountainous terrain, in the dark, by yourself.
I mean, you also got to remember too, like, okay, so I'm just going to play this part two. And I know that this, again, speculation warning, okay? But I will say this out loud. And we've all done this as kids. I mean, a lot of us. I'm not saying all of us. But we all tried to joyride. We've all tried to say, oh, you got a friend of ours in their car. We're young. We're having a good time. We're driving around this windy road. Person ends up picking up the speed. You're trying to catch up with them, let's just say, because you're just joyriding, have a good time. And then all of a sudden, with her situation, maybe she lost control over the car after something like that. You see what I'm saying? I mean,
Sure. I mean, now that you mention it, I mean,
right.
I do remember in Easter weekend 1987, I was involved in a rollover with my buddy driving, and we were under the influence, and that's exactly what happened. We went off a 3-foot burn and rolled the truck 4.5 times. I ended up getting stitches across my ribs here, down across my thigh, and had a concussion for a little bit. And it's, some of us are lucky, some of us we survive, others aren't so lucky. And unfortunately, whether Kiely was under the influence or sober, she didn't get so lucky that night.
Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate, this whole situation. But for those of y'all who are starting to file in and being a part of the show today, I appreciate you guys being here, giving you guys a quick re-update here. All right. I've already updated 2 or 3 times before, but I'll do it another time just so you guys see it. So Adventures with Purpose, thank God for those guys. Shout out to those guys. They deserve a damn, I don't know, if they have a GoFundMe or something like that, anything. They deserve some love for real. A medal, for crying out loud, for finding this young girl. But they have announced on their Facebook page that they have found Kiely. Again, her car was upside down in 14 feet of water. We have confirmed that Kiely was inside. All right. Family has been notified, and law enforcement, I'm sure, is already there. But as far as the posting of this, they were on their way. Young Kiely Rodni has been found. Just so you all know, for those of y'all who are filing in that may not know what the heck is going on, this is the information that we have right now. Now, I gotta play this hand, because I know for a fact people are wondering, foul play or not, so on and so forth. There's a debate going on in the family chat right now, and I gotta ask you, Jason, do you think that there's possibly room for foul play here, or no?
No, not with what's been released at this moment. There's no evidence of foul play, because for the car to be upside down, the car, like we were just describing, was launched. You don't get a launch vehicle if you want someone to stage it as like, let's say something happened to her, then they put her in the car, then push her into the water. It's going to go in on its wheels.
Right. Yep, that's very true. Then the car won't flip, right? It won't be
right.
The car wouldn't have flipped.
And no one's that stupid. Like, let's say, stage the car rolling at 60 miles an hour, and they're going to jump out of the moving car. No, I don't see that happening. I mean,
right?
I guess if you're that crazy, maybe, but some fun. I mean, some James Bond, pyrotechnics with a parachute launch, maybe, but no, I don't see it happening that way. And the windows, certainly wouldn't be up and things like that.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And I feel like a lot of things, a lot of things would make sense, right? A lot of those pieces of some wrongdoings is going on here. It's a little far fetched, but at the same time, we'll find out what happens with the autopsy. We'll find out what's going on with the toxicology report as well. Once those things come out, it'll answer so many more questions, right? Just to see if there was any liquor in her system.
Right.
Maybe it was just regular young novice human error with the car accident, with her car going into the lake. We would be able to find out if something wrong happened to her prior to the said accident. If somebody actually rolled the car, drove the car out and rolled out of the car like it's Mission Impossible or something like that. I mean, I feel like a lot of questions will be answered once we get the toxicology autopsy reports back. I think a lot of things will be put to rest. Do you have any?
So true. I mean, obviously, I say this all with an asterisk. If the medical examiner determines that there was an alternate cause of death, like a fatal gunshot or something like that, then certainly there would be foul play. But just a body in a upside down vehicle with the windows up in a lake just seems to add up to an accident.
Right. Now, one question I have for you too is, where she was found, do they know how far away? Because I mean, obviously, this is the only information I have here. Do they know
Right.
how far away she was from the actual party, from where the car was found to where the party was? Do we actually know the distance between those two places?
Well, yeah, they do because they're out there in the field. They've been scouring these lakes, and they know where the party started and all that stuff. But until the press conference, which I would imagine will be coming eventually from Placer County, but until
Mhm.
then, we're all just kind of waiting to find out those answers to those questions, like how far away did she make it from the party?
Yeah, yeah. This is
Like
sad
once they
news.
release like which once they release what lake she was at, the rest of us know uh, where the party was at, and then we can figure out just from Google Map searching how far she got. But until they tell us which body of water for sure, we're just guessing.
Gotcha. No, you got a point there too. And of course, I want to share this because somebody just already has already pieced something together for her, and of course, we have been found. She has been found. She is no longer here. Again, a lot of questions still popping up, even though this one main question has been answered, which is yes, she was found in the lake. The car is there. She was inside the car. It still has a lot of other questions that still pop up, which is the slew of questions that we are talking about right now. And I know there's a lot of us, there's a lot of people out here that may think that there was foul play in here, but it may not have been that at all, right? It
Right,
could have
right.
just
There may not be any foul play at all.
it could just literally be just
Terrible
a young
accident.
a terrible, terrible accident involving a 16-year-old girl. It's really unfortunate, this whole situation. And of course, we're gonna be looking at this more as the information starts to come out more because it's still brand new, still fresh, it's still only an hour old. I don't think that Adventures with Purpose has come out with more information on this, but they will be pumping out some stuff here soon. It looks like tomorrow afternoon they'll be going live and talking about what they did, how they found her, etc. Now, one thing I will say this: they found her in 14 feet of water. 14 feet of water. Now, I've said my theory on why they were able to find her, uh, but why wasn't law enforcement, any of the people would not able to find her? Solely because we weren't able to see the silver, like the roof of her car, shining through that 14 feet of water? Or was that water really that thick and dense? I'm curious about that. What are your thoughts on that, Jason?
Well, being upside down, you're not going to get the reflective silver paint like you would if it was on its wheels. So the undercarriage of most cars are like a flat black, or maybe even a coated, like a dull coating or plastic wrap underneath. So you would expect it to be black. Certainly, once it lands in the sediment underneath, silt and everything will plume up and even coat the vehicle. So the main reason why you can't see it is because there's probably a fine layer of silt that takes away any opportunity for metallic surfaces to shine and reflect sunlight.
So there you go. There you go. So I was right. My theory was right that the bottom of a car is usually black, right? Or
I
just
see a
very
lot
dark,
of bottom of cars. Yes,
right?
they're black.
Right. And and it's very hard to see that through mud and water, right? And then you got the reflective silver of a car. It would be really tough if the car was upside down, right? You're flying a drone over a lake. You're hoping to see the outline of a car, right? The light color of a car, especially in 14 feet of water. You'd think that would be like right there right in your face, bang, just impossible to miss, right? But unfortunately, that wasn't the case here. Car was flipped over upside down with her inside of it. which is
Right.
absolutely
And,
devastating.
and largely the reason for that is the slower the entry into the water, the less you disturb the bottom of the body of water, or the lake, the river, and so you don't have sediment come up. But this just tells me, it indicates to me that it was a higher speed entry, and that it disrupted the bottom and encased the vehicle with some silt.
That's another good theory there too. That's another good one there as well. I got some super chats I want to go through. And I appreciate you, Jason. I appreciate you dropping everything to be here to talk with us. I know you got a very busy schedule. I know you're saving lives every day, but I appreciate you being here and chopping it up with us. But we got Jackie, $5. Thank you so much. Not the first time AWP found a vehicle after law enforcement searched, and that is true. They've digged up cars and solved cold cases that were 20 plus years old. And that is very, very true.
It's largely the reason to Adventures with Purpose's credit. They specialize at this, and most law enforcement don't have a unit that specializes in it, let alone, some officer that might have done it once or twice before. That's just not their wheelhouse. But Adventures with Purpose, that's what they do, you could say now, for a living, for YouTube or for their own credit. They go around to all sorts of different states, follow these different stories, and search rivers and lakes and streams and you name it, and they find these cars because they have the equipment and the specialty. I've seen some of the sonar scans that they use, and I can't make heads or tails, but they'll show the screen on their YouTube channel and say, "See that? That's the outline of a car and a tire," and you're like, "Oh, I'm glad you can see it, because I would have went right past that."
No kidding, right? It's amazing what the skills, right, that they have to be able to go, "Oh yeah, I can see right there, bang." It's almost like looking at like one of those magic eyes. You remember those magic eye books? It's like, how can you make out that there's an elephant in there? All I see is splotches. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, there's an elephant right there. And I think that's one of the skills, they've obviously have been properly trained to be able to do this thing. So shout out again to Adventures with Purpose, because without them there, I think a lot of us would still be here scratching our heads trying to figure out what the heck happened, right? And where this young woman is, where this young girl is. But I do have some more super chats, so let me grab those right quick. I had one and it disappeared on me. 1 second. And again, guys, I appreciate all y'all for being here. Yes, it's not great news, but we are getting the news nonetheless. Something that we have all been wanting to know. We've all been racking our brains. We have gone off deep off the beaten paths. There's been crazy drama that is circulated around this particular story, this particular case. So I'm hoping that this is something that's going to calm and cool the sails a little bit. The finger pointing and all of that. I'm hoping that it'll do something. A little bit of something out here for sure. Berenice, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. I really do appreciate it. I got a couple other super chats here right quick. Again, give Jason some love. Okay, give him a whole bunch of heart emojis in the chat, because I appreciate him coming in here with his expertise. This is a man who does these are the kinds of things that he does all the time. These kinds of stories, these kinds of cases. He's in there. He's one of those guys that's boots on the ground trying to save these young people's lives that have gone missing. So please give him some heart emojis and love in the chat. I'd really, really appreciate it. Let's see. TL Fish, thank you so much for the $2. Girl code, friend code, both broken. Terrible. I agree. Okay, I'll say it again because I think I broke up a little bit. Girl code, friend code, both broken. Terrible. I agree. I hate to say it like that, but I agree. I also will say this, though, too. We've all been young. We've all made mistakes when we were young. We've all made choices that we regret later on, saying, hey, I wish I could have stayed for this, or I could have stayed for that, or I shouldn't have left my brother behind at that time. Biggest mistake of my life. I'm hoping that this just is something that we all learn, that we all teach our loved ones, our kids too, because there's a lot of kids out here that are well advanced in the art of partying. I'll say it, okay? Like, and I think that this is something that this is a conversation that needs to be had, right? We look at this story, it's not the greatest story, it's devastating, but this is hopefully going to be a conversation starter for a lot of parents that are maybe knowing that their kids are out here partying, trying a lot of party favors and so on and so forth, and being able to make sure that their kids are coming back home safe. And that's not a diss or a dig at any at Kiely's parents or anything of that sort, because I know there's a lot of people that have been very upset. Some people have been upset with Kiely's parents for not staying up, that when she didn't, they went back to sleep instead of staying up till she got home, and so on and so forth. I think she was a trustworthy kid, and this is a horrendous, terrible accident that happened. But nonetheless, this should still be a starter for a conversation with your kids, because a lot of, we were all kids once too. All right. We all went and kicked it and partied too, guys. Right. So, so I'm hoping that, yes, it's terrible what happened, and she was left behind and all that, but hopefully this doesn't happen again. Right. Nicole McMillan, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you for this video and update. Whatever happened to her, it's devastating. R.I.P. Kiely. Truth will come. I totally agree. And it's only a matter of time now. Once they do the autopsy, the truth is in the autopsies, in the reports. It's the toxicology and the autopsy reports. We're going to hear everything. If there was foul play on her at all, we will see in the autopsy. Okay, we will see in the toxicology report. There was also conversations about fentanyl, multicolored, rainbow-colored fentanyl in the area. Right? There's also been an SO. Okay, that they had brought in as a suspect. I mean, there's been so many different things, but law enforcement was doing everything they can and everything they could to get down to the bottom of this, to find this young girl. So if there was fentanyl in her system, we're going to find out. If there was any party drugs in her system, we're going to find out. If she was heavily intoxicated, we're going to find that out, hopefully, right? But what are your thoughts on that, Jason?
Well, you're right. I mean, there will be a medical examination conducted. There will be toxicology completed before they'll release any information. With that, they'll identify the cause of death as well as the manner of death.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I love is that this is echoing the question I was just about to ask you. So, Kara, thank you so much for the $5. Jason, after a body has been submerged for a period of time, can toxicology still be accurately completed? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, most likely that since it was underwater, it's not likely to be a severely decomposed body. So they'll just do a deep tissue analysis to determine, if there was any foreign substances in her bloodstream.
Okay. Well, wait. So as far as toxicology, as far as drugs, right? But say something else happened to her, right? If there was some SA that happened or something of that sort.
Oh yeah, they'll do all that kind of examination of all of her organs to her body to see if there was any other cause of death other than simply drowning. Is what I would imagine.
Right. Man, so terrible. A Skywalker 91, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. AWP did find a car under only 3 feet of water that was not found because the water was green, just like the car. Oh, because because the water was green.
Like camel. Yeah.
So many different factors can play. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. They could, and the guys, the law enforcement may not have the same type of technology as AWP. Obviously, they don't. So they're going through it and they're scouring the area, but they're not seeing what's going on. And there's only so many guys, right, that are in scuba gear. I'm assuming going through certain parts of the lake, right? And maybe they hadn't even combed that area yet. That's a possibility as well. That's a big possibility as well here. Hold on, I'm seeing if there's no other super chats. Okay, great. And again, thank you guys so much for the questions and the super chats and the love and the support and all the heart emojis for my brother, private investigator Jason Jensen. Because without him coming in here and having this conversation, I think we'd all be still scratching our heads with more information. But I liked what you said earlier, though, when you said that the car did, because the piece of information is the car flipped over. She was still inside of it. The car had flipped over. So she obviously was launched. The car launched in some sort of way. And obviously we don't know where the car was, right? We don't know the proximity of where the car was and where the road is to the lake and all that. I mean, it could have been feet in the air, and then the car lost control going off of a embankment of some sort, and then of course the force going downward into the water, causing it to flip over. And that's, I think, a very information there. I think that's a very big piece of information there. That the fact that the car flipped over. I think that a lot of people are going to instantly say, "Oh, because the car flipped over, foul play." That's foul play, right? But with your explanation, she could have just been going at a high speed or a higher speed than what the road is saying that she should be going. They could have been saying going 25, 30 miles an hour, and she could have just straight up been going 50, but then losing control over the car. I mean, do you mind reiterating that for those who had just filed in early, filed in a little late to the show?
Sure. The reason why the car would be found upside down is simply because, the angle that the vehicle traveled as well as the speed would create a forward momentum. When it hit the water, it would either be compelled to flip over, or maybe it was even airborne and doing a slow somersault in the process. And another alternative is, if it went down the side of an embankment, it might have even rolled that way. So we don't know yet, because we don't know the condition of the vehicle, what kind of damage was done to the vehicle. My personal belief is that it launched and landed, at least nose down and rolled forward, because if it was tumbling sideways, rolling down the side of a hill, it would have had enough damage to the vehicle that the windows would have been broken, and she more than likely would have, found her way out of the vehicle. But usually if it lands in the water intact, people don't really know how to roll down get the windows down to save themselves, and they think that they can beat on the glass. But what they don't understand is, while you're beating on this side of the glass, you have huge water pressure on the outside that prevents it from breaking.
Yeah. No, that's actually very, very true there too. And it's sad, because obviously we're going to find out very, very soon, or eventually, what the autopsy comes back with, and they will say what her cause of her demise will be. I know a lot of people are wondering what it could have been. It could have very well been while she was still submerged in the water. That could be it. That's definitely that's what I'm leaning towards. But of course, you never know until the autopsy report comes out, toxicology as well, sharing with us what actually went down, right? And of course, more information will come out here. I was hoping to see like some sort of press conference of some sort. I haven't heard anything as of yet about that. Did you hear anything, Jason, about maybe a press conference today or something?
Well, I would imagine that they're going to do one as they get more information. There's more than likely going to be, an accident reconstruction conducted as well as an autopsy. So someone's going to come there that's an expert at, accident scenes. They're going to be trying to measure and calculate her rate of speed. They're going to pull the vehicle out and assess the damage so they can figure out what happened to the vehicle before it entered the water. They're probably going to collect the computer system data from the vehicle to see if there was speed and direction and things like that identified as well. So, there's a lot to what they're going to put together before we get an end result understanding of what happened to Kiely that night.
Man, yeah, there's still a lot to be done here. There's definitely still a whole lot to be done, and again, questions that still need to be answered, that we don't know yet, right? And again, without them being able to, of course, with them taking her car and her out of the lake, being able to do their autopsy, the toxicology report, checking out the damage of the car, etc. I think they're going to be able to assess what really happened here and what's really going on. But Jason, I know you got I know you got a lot on your plate and you got a lot going on, so I'm going to let you go and do your thing. But I do appreciate you coming on. Can you let everybody know where they can go and find you? This man is chock full with amazing information on not only just this particular case, with many other cases, other missing person cases that are going on right now, and some of them that are considered cold cases now. So let everybody know where they can find you, man, please.
Sure. I have a couple websites, jensenprivateinvestigations.com, or you can go to jensen-coldcases.com, or my socials. On Twitter, I'm Jason JPI, or Facebook, Jason K Jensen PI. So
Excellent.
Easy to find, just a simple Google.
Yes. So please, guys, please go find him. Follow him on the socials, if you will. All right. And Jason, I'll be talking to you very, very soon. You stay blessed. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother. Talk to you later.
Talk to you. Bye. So shout out to Jason for being on. I really do appreciate him for being on here and having that conversation with us. I know that's not an easy conversation to have, period. It's not an easy conversation to have, and having him on to talk about this, especially when it's not the greatest of news here, guys. It's not the greatest of news, but I did want to show you guys some video about AWP, or Adventures with Purpose. They came to the scene, and of course, a lot of people were asking them a lot of questions, getting interviewed, and all that. So there's a news clip here I wanted to share with you guys of them, just talking about they're covering about Adventures with Purpose showing up and being on the scene. Let's take a look at this. It's sad news, guys. I mean, still, no matter what, at the end of the day, it's somebody who it's a young girl that went missing. Obviously, a lot of people were thinking the worst. Maybe that she was, code word rush houred, right? Or that she was basically taken. That's what I'm trying to say. There's been other crazy speculations, obviously, that have sparked off as well, outside of that as well. And I understand why people have been so interested in this particular story, because of how things ended, because of how she was left behind, because of how people did not want to step forward and say anything. And I guarantee you, somebody knows something still. Even if this was an accident that's just a bad, really, really bad accident. Let's just say it's just straight up and down like 6 o'clock and as boring as unbuttered white toast. All right. What if it was just literally she got too intoxicated She got behind the wheel of a car, and she lost control of the car. Let's just say that. But still, even on top of that, you're looking at it and going, wait a second. If she was in that train of cars, that caravan of cars that left around that time, somebody must have seen something. Somebody might have seen her veer off the road, but they're scared of saying anything, right? Now, I'm not trying to push the speculation envelope and conspirize, okay, as I like to say, all right? Not trying to say that, but what if she was following somebody? What if she was leading somebody? And then she veered right off the road and they just kept driving. I don't know. It just seems strange. It just seems strange that nobody stepped forward. But then you also have the other side of things. Let's be real. What if she was driving by herself on a dark road by herself and this accident happened and this moment happened? That could very well be it too. Like I said, you have to play you got to play all the possibilities, right? You got to play out all the possibilities here. And the way I look at it is we should sit back, wait to see what they say in the autopsy report. The autopsy report, I think, will say a tremendous amount of things. The autopsy and the toxicology report will say a tremendous amount of things. And I think it will put a lot of these speculations, a lot of these conspiracy theories to rest. That's what I think. Dory, thank you so much for the €2. Sorry. Don't forget to push that like button, folks. Thank you so much. Dory, yes. Hit that like button if you don't mind. I'd really appreciate it. Okay. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Yes, and right now all we can do is just wait, see what they say, see what information that they have out here, and so that we can get this, so that we can let this young girl rest in peace, right? That's what we need to be doing. But this is not great news. This is not great news at all. This is not. It's not a great news. This is not great news at all. But without all of us talking about this online, keeping her name in our mouths, putting the hashtags like crazy on the Twitters and the TikToks and the YouTubes and the Facebooks, all right, this still would be a lingering mystery, or finding her would take more time. There would be more dragging of feet. Maybe Adventures with Purpose would not be savvy to this story as quickly. They may not have responded as quickly. Not saying that they wouldn't respond to this, but they may not have responded to this story as quickly. But that's because of all of us out here. Every single last content creator that's talking about this, every single last person that's covering this story on their TikToks and Instagrams everywhere. Without all of you guys talking about this, she might not have been found as quickly as she did. That's why I keep saying that it's so important for us to keep speaking, keep talking about these things, and talk about as many of these stories as we can, because there's a lot of missing people out here, y'all. There's a lot of missing people out here, and they deserve just as much light and just as much focus as well. So I'm hoping that this makes people realize, the people outside, even mainstream media, realize that the internet can really do some amazing things. Even though this piece of information is devastating as hell, it is still closing this chapter and answering a lot of questions that were sitting lingering for weeks. I will say that. All right. I will most definitely say that. It is very unfortunate, y'all, that we're on this. The topic of the story is this, that we're talking about this young girl that's been found, but she was found in her car in 14 feet of water. It's just really sad news, y'all. It's just really, really sad news. Again, for those of y'all who don't know, I'm just going to throw this up one more time. All right. Adventures with Purpose, they came through. All right. And they did their due diligence. And within a day, literally within a day of work, they were able to find Kiely and her car within the day, within a work day. All right. Within the equivalent of a work day, they were able to find Kiely and her car. Again, I'm just going to give you guys this information real quick. We just found Kiely Rodni. Car is upside down in 14 feet of water. We have confirmed Kiely is inside. Family has been notified. Law enforcement is on their way. Obviously, this was about an hour ago, okay, where this information was dropped. So, again, this young 16-year-old girl by the name of Kiely Rodni has been found. And she has been found dead at the age of 16. Okay? Again, we will find out more information, y'all, as we get down to the nitty-gritty. Toxicology, autopsy. Of course, they're going to be checking out the car to see what happened with the car. Did the car hit anything before it veered off the road? Did a tire blow out before it lost control? Whatever it may be, they're going to be able to find out what the heck happened to the car and what the heck happened to this young girl. And when they have that information, you know for a fact we're going to be hearing it right here on the Pascal Show. All right? So just keep your ears and keep your eyes open, because you never know when I go live on this information. This is not, of course, unfortunate information, but it is information nonetheless. It is actually closing a chapter. And finally, some questions have been answered. But there's more that are laying in front of us to find out what actually went down. Some people say foul play. Me, I say let's wait. Let's find out what they say in the reports. Right? Let the experts do their due diligence. Let's find out what really was going on with her internally, so that maybe we can answer all those burning questions and those conspiracies that a lot of you guys have. Okay? So anyway, guys, it's time to get going, though. I appreciate all y'all for being here, being a part of the conversation. I wish it was on more positive news, but nonetheless, we've been waiting for some information to come out, and we're finally getting it, okay? So if you guys could do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Send it past 1K for me, okay? We're almost there. Do me that favor. A like doesn't cost a thing. Just hit that like button down below. Send it past 1K for me really, really quick, okay? All for Kiely Rodni and her and the light and the positivity and the energy that she left on this planet, all right? Send those likes if you can all the way up. And please, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button, all right? I know that there's other guys out here that are covering this story as well. Please go and check them out. Check out those other shows. I'm sure they're going into more of a deep dive. So please go hop over there and chop it up with them and see what else they know. Because right now, this is all I have. This is the information I know so far. But when I get more information, I will be on live with you guys to talk about that for sure. So please hit that subscribe button. Support the channel in any way you can. Check out my locals. Check out my Patreon. I got the Cash App as well. And of course, you can hit that join button down below just to support the channel alone. Become a family member. That would really, really mean a lot. Okay? Anyway, it's time to get going. I appreciate all y'all. All right? Stay up. Do something positive with the rest of your Sunday. And I will see you guys in the next video. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.